Good morning. Let us start our session by establishing proper motivation, Mahayana motivation, bodhicitta motivation. So we'll do this quickly as we have a lot of material to cover today. To conclude the chapter on karma of the Lamrim. So we can try to recognize how since beginningless time we have been under the control of our karma and afflictions. Constantly we are taking rebirth again and again without control, experiencing different kinds of lives, different kinds of experiences that we do not choose. We are making these experiences and taking these rebirths because of the karma that we accumulate. We accumulate this karma because of our mental afflictions, mental delusions that are all rooted in self-grasping ignorance, not seeing reality as it exists, perceiving reality, perceiving I, perceiving others, perceiving phenomena as being objectively existent, being truly existent out there from their own side. Whereas in actuality, the Buddha taught us the Prasangika view is that phenomena are merely labeled by the mind. They don't exist objectively out there. So because of that, all kinds of afflictions arise, and they are driving us, making us constantly accumulate all sorts of negative karmas or contaminated positive karmas that keep us trapped in cyclic existence, constantly taking rebirth, going through various experiences. So try to generate a wish to eliminate the root of all of this, which is this self-grasping ignorance. Try to generate the wish, may I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And try to recognize that not only myself, but all sentient beings are in the same condition. So try to extend that wish to others. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And not only that, now I have this precious human rebirth. I have met the teachings of the Buddha. I have all the freedoms and endowments that allow me to purify my mind, to enter the path, to realize the path, and become a fully qualified, omniscient, fully awakened being. I have the possibility to become a Buddha in order to benefit countless sentient beings. Try to generate this most beautiful mind of bodhicitta. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. So with this motivation of bodhicitta in mind, we will engage in meditation today, starting with a few minutes of calm abiding meditation, single-pointed concentration, Shamatha in Sanskrit or Shine in Tibetan. We'll quickly just mention the 4 instructions without going into detail to save time. The first one is to look at your body posture. Ideally, sit in the 7-point Vairocana, Buddha Vairocana posture. The most important of these 7 points is for your back to be straight, for your body to be upright. The second instruction is to bring to mind your object of meditation, your focal point. So you can use the object that you are familiar with for this meditation, and if you don't have an object, you can visualize a tiny drop, a tiny dot of white light between your nose and your upper lip. Very small, about 1 or 2 millimeters in diameter, and place all your attention there. You can also count your cycles of breathing throughout a few minutes. The third instruction is to identify the errors that arise during meditation. The mind will be distracted either into excitement or laxity. And the fourth and most important instruction is to apply the antidotes, the remedies to these 2 errors. The 2 remedies are introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is a mind that constantly checks during the meditation, am I meditating? Am I concentrated on my focal point? If not, immediately when I notice that my mind has wandered off, I make the effort without wasting time. I make the effort to bring my mind back onto the object with mindfulness, making sure I don't forget the object anymore. So we will try this for a few minutes. Gently come out of the meditation. Now that we are hopefully a little bit more focused, concentrated, try to bring back to mind the motivation of bodhicitta. We are going to engage in prayers and practices to prepare our minds to meditate on the Lamrim, hopefully realize the Lamrim. So why we are doing these practices, meditations, is to eliminate our mental afflictions, mental obscurations, to achieve the state of ultimate happiness, to be free from suffering, to achieve omniscience, to be able to guide sentient beings perfectly. So we can visualize in front of us Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, surrounded by all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. In front of them, your holy gurus. You can visualize, for example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all your other lamas. Surrounding you are numberless sentient beings, starting with your mother of this life on your left and your father of this life on your right side. And around you are all sentient beings, and we are guiding them into these practices. We are like the Umze in Tibetan, the chant leader for them. At Tushita, I think we are on page 25, the daily prayers, starting with refuge and bodhicitta. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chodan Soki Chonam Lai Jonshu Badu Dagne Gyabsoji Dagi Jinso Gibe Tsoknam Ki Jola Benchir Sangye Jubara Isho Sangye Chodan Soki Chonam Lai Jonshu Badu Dagne Gyabsoji Dagi Jinso Gibe Tsoknam Ki Jora Benchir Sangye Jubara Isho. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. And we'll engage in the 7 branches of practice in order to quickly purify our minds and accumulate positive potential, accumulate merit to create the conducive conditions for us to realize the Lamrim that we are meditating on. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. So here, take a moment to rejoice in all the virtuous actions of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. You can think of all the teachers that you know, all the practitioners that you know, the monastics that you know. You can rejoice as well in your own and your friends and family's positive actions. And then we carry on. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. We'll also read short Lamrim prayer, the foundation of all good qualities. I think page 139. Composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, which contains all the essential points of the Lamrim, to bring them to mind and to request our gurus to grant us blessings to realize these points quickly within our mind streams. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect, pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have specified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows in Samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So up to now, we have been contemplating that in order to transform our minds, we need to rely on a qualified teacher. Now we have this precious human life with all freedoms and endowments that allow us to do the work of transforming our minds by studying, contemplating, meditating. But this precious opportunity, this precious human life, will inevitably come to an end at some point. We will die. There is no way we can escape death. And we don't know when this death will come. It might come at any time. So therefore there is a sense of urgency. Because at the time of death, my friends, relatives, possessions, they cannot benefit me when leaving this body. Only my mind is going with me. Therefore, only the transformation that I'm able to do in this life, the Dharma that I'm able to realize, only that will be of benefit at the time of death. When I pass away, I don't know what karma will ripen because of the negative actions I have accumulated in the past. It is quite likely that I will be propelled in the lower realms again. Fortunately, in this life, I have met with the teachings of the Buddha, and by taking refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, by following the teachings of the Buddha, the fundamental one being not engaging in non-virtue, engaging in virtue, I will not create more causes for suffering. I will accumulate causes for pleasant experiences in the future. So in that sense, refuge protects me from the lower realms. We have seen that any karma we accumulate is definite. Any action will definitely bring about results. We don't experience pleasant or unpleasant experiences without any cause. Karma multiplies, karma increases. Unless we purify, small action can bring about big results. We have seen that the non-virtuous actions that result in suffering, we have made the determination to stop engaging in non-virtuous and to instead engage in virtuous actions. So today we will contemplate what kind of results these karmas bring and how to purify the negative karmas that we have accumulated in the past. So karma has different kinds of weight. Some actions that we do are more heavy than others, and these are determined by 6 different factors. The first one being the nature of the karma. For example, killing is the heaviest among the negative physical actions we can do. Lying is the heaviest amongst the verbal actions we can engage in. And having wrong views is the heaviest of the mental actions. The second factor that determines the heaviness of karma is the attitude. Engaging in one of these actions with a heavy affliction in mind, for example, a lot of attachment or a lot of anger. And then the third factor is the performance, the action itself, how it is done. For example, when it comes to killing, if it is killing in such a way that it causes great sufferings to the victim, then the karma of killing is even more heavy. And there is also the basis, the object. For example, actions done in relation to the gurus, actions done in relation to the three jewels, or actions done in relation to our parents. These are more heavy because of the object and what the significance of the object for us. Then the fifth factor is the habit, the frequency and the continuity of the negative karmas we engage in. And the sixth factor, the last factor, is the absence of an antidote. If one does no virtue, then non-virtue becomes more heavy. If we only engage in non-virtue, if we don't practice virtue, then our non-virtues are more heavy. But in the same way, if we only engage in virtue, then our non-virtue becomes less powerful. Try to generate an intention to restrain from engaging in creating heavy negative karmas. And how, in the other hand, to make your virtuous actions more powerful. Then we will look at the results of non-virtuous actions, the fruits of karma. According to the strength of the afflictions involved, great non-virtues lead to a rebirth, either in hell, if it's very heavy negative karma, or as a hungry ghost, it's kind of middling negative karma. And a small negative karma can lead to a rebirth in the animal realm. So this is the fruitional results of negative karma, of non-virtuous actions. The second is the results that we experience that are similar to the cause. So these are twofold: experiences that we make and habits that we develop. Experience means that later, for example, when we are born as a human being, we will experience, because of killing, we will have a short life. Because of stealing, we will lack resources. Because of sexual misconduct, our spouse or partner will leave us. Because of lying, we will experience much slander. Because of divisive speech, we will lose our friends. Because of harsh speech, we will hear unpleasant words. Because of idle gossip, others will not listen to us. Because of covetousness, we will have a predominance for attachment. Because of malice, because of harmful intent, we will be more hostile. And because of wrong views, we will be more confused. And then, due to accumulating these non-virtuous actions in the past, we will have the habit, we'll have the tendency to commit these actions again. Then there is the environmental results of these non-virtuous actions. The character of the misdeeds that we have done is reflected in our environment. For example, due to killing, the food, the drink, the medicine that we take, they have little power. Food is not nourishing, for example, or medicine is not effective. Due to stealing, there are shortages of food, there are hailstorms, droughts, and so forth. Due to sexual misconduct, the environmental result is that the environment is filthy and bad smelling. Because of lying, our work is not successful, or there is disharmony and deceit among our workers. Due to divisive speech, the ground is uneven and difficult to travel on. Due to harsh speech, the environment is full of thorns, sharp stones, and dangerous animals. Due to idle gossip, crops will fail and rain will fall at the wrong time. So maybe we can assume, with climate change, that is this collective result of the karma we have accumulated in the past with engaging in idle gossip. Due to covetousness, all excellent things will deteriorate day by day, year by year. Due to harmful intent or malice, there will be wars, sicknesses, famine, dangerous animal and dangerous people. This is the environmental result of wishing others to suffer, having harmful intents, having malice. And then finally, due to wrong views, our resources will disappear, or we will have no home or no protector. Then we can take a look at the results, in the other hand, of virtuous actions, positive karma. So again, we have the fruitional result. Great virtuous actions lead to a rebirth as a god in the form and formless realms. Middling virtuous actions lead to a rebirth in the desire realm, God, not in the form and formless realms. And small virtuous actions have the potential to ripen as a rebirth in the human realm. Then again, we have the results similar to the cause of the virtuous actions we engage in. So we have results similar in our experiences and results similar to the cause in our habits. So in terms of experience, if we, for example, engage in the virtuous action of not killing or protecting lives, saving animals, for example, then we will have a long life. If we engage in the virtuous action of not stealing or protecting the resources of others, we will have plenty of resources ourselves. If we engage in the virtuous actions of not engaging in divisive speech, malice, and so forth, then we will have harmony, we'll have good relationships, and so forth. And then in terms of habit, we will be born with a tendency to commit virtuous actions again, to engage in virtue. And in terms of environment, for example, food, drinks, and medicine will have great power. Food will be nutritious, medicine will be very effective, and so forth. So in the past, we have engaged in countless actions. We have had countless lives, and because of our afflictions that are all rooted in self-grasping ignorance, we have engaged in all 10 non-virtues numberless times. We have been doing all sorts of things. Actually, in fact, if you just look at this life, you can see number of times you have lied, number of times you have engaged in idle gossip. You might have engaged in heavier ones as well. You might have wished for some beings to suffer, might have stolen some things. So you can infer that in previous lives you have done much worse, countless times. So the 4 opponent powers to counter these negative actions So we have seen, in the previous session, we have seen what are the 4 factors that make an action a full path of karma that has the power to propel us in another rebirth. So here we will see the 4 opponent powers, the 4 opposites of these 4 factors that enable us to purify these negative karmas and at least stop them from increasing, from multiplying. If I remember correctly, once Lama Zopa Rinpoche was teaching and said that the result of killing one being is that in the future we will be killed ourselves about 500 times. This is according to the scriptures. But if we don't purify, if we kill someone today or an animal today, if we don't purify it, if you don't purify this negative action, tomorrow the result will be multiplied. So it's not going to be only 500 times that we will be killed, but much more. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to say that every evening we should at least purify the negative actions we have accumulated throughout the day. So the way to do this is to apply the 4 opponent powers. The first is the power of regret, to feeling regret for the negative actions we have done. So this purifies the result similar to the cause as an experience. Regret doesn't mean guilt. It's a healthy sense of regret. It's a wish not to experience the resultant suffering of the actions we have engaged in, to recognize the faults of the action. But guilt doesn't serve a purpose. Here what we are doing is trying to engage in the opposite. First we have to recognize the action is wrong and recognize that the action will bring about suffering. This is the meaning of regret. The second is the power of reliance, or the power of refuge. Like we have done this morning, taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. This purifies the environmental results. And we have the power of remedy, applying antidotes. So here I have a list of 6 that are recommended. One is reciting sutras. In fact, I invite you all this Saturday and upcoming Saturdays at 2 p.m. at Tushita, we will engage in sutra recitation. So this is one of the remedies that is mentioned here in the Lamrim to purify negative karmas. And the second remedy that is mentioned is, of course, the strongest, is to meditate on emptiness. Wisdom realizing emptiness. This is the actual liberating path that purifies not only our karmas, but also all of our obscurations, afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. Then one of the remedies is to recite mantras. For example, one very popular one in Tibetan Buddhism is to engage in the practice of Vajrasattva. It is said that accumulating recitation of 100,000 Vajrasattva mantras in the context of a retreat. The Tibetans, they do this in 1 month, but in our organization, usually we do this in 3 months. We do have 3 months Vajrasattva retreats that are organized. There is one that has just completed a few days ago at Tushita Dharamshala. So during these 3 months, it is said that reciting 100,000 Vajrasattva mantras, which is a 100-syllable mantra, this has the power to purify all the negative karma we have accumulated in the past, including the heaviest ones. For example, the 5 heinous crimes, killing one's mother, one's father, and so on and so forth. All this can be purified with this practice. Also breaking our engagements, our commitments with our teachers, our samaya, all this can become purified. Another of the remedies that is recommended in the Lamrim is to actually make Buddha images. For example, statues, tsatsas, or paintings, or even just printing actually Buddha images or drawing Buddha images. It is said that also creating stupas, building stupas, creates vast amounts of merit and purifies so much negative karma. One of the antidotes, remedies that is recommended in the Lamrim is to make offerings to holy objects. So it's a good idea every morning, for example, when you make yourself tea, don't make just one cup, maybe make two, and bring one of these cups to put it on your altar and offer it to all the holy objects on your altar, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that you can visualize in front of you. And then finally, the remedy of reciting names of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. For example, the 7 medicine Buddhas who pledged, to benefit us in those degenerated times. So this is why every other Tuesday here at Tushita, we engage in the Medicine Buddha Puja, reciting the names of the Medicine Buddhas. So this is also one of the remedies. And so all these remedies, they purify the fruitional results. So the rebirth, the type of rebirth, negative rebirth we will take as an animal, a hungry ghost, or in a hell realm being. So these remedies, they kind of make the seeds of negative karmas inactive, like if you burn the seed of a mango, for example, then it will be unable, it doesn't have the potential anymore to transform into a mango tree. And then the fourth opponent power is the power of resolution, or sometimes it's called restraint, which is making a determination to refrain from negative actions in the future. Like to make a pledge, a commitment to the Buddhas. For as long as I can, I will not engage in killing, stealing, lying, and so forth. And this purifies the results similar to the cause as a habit, our tendencies. It purifies our tendencies, which is very logical if you think about it. If you make a resolve not to engage in stealing, for example, if you strongly commit, I will not steal, then of course, if this is very genuine and a very strong determination, then your habit of stealing will decrease naturally. So let us take a moment to generate a conclusion after contemplating all these points. Generate a strong determination to live your life in such a way that you create virtuous karma as much as possible and refrain from non-virtuous karmas as much as possible. And to purify whatever non-virtuous karmas you have accumulated in this life and previous lives in order to avoid the painful results. So with this determination, this conclusion in mind, we can dedicate the merits that we have accumulated today in this session, as well as all the merits we have accumulated in the past, all the merits we will accumulate in the future, so that we might very soon, very, very soon become Buddhas in order to benefit sentient beings. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the Supreme Jewel Body Chitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. You can chant it in Tibetan as well, this one. Joinju Sem Jorim Boji, Ma Ye Ba Nam Kye Gyorochi, Kye Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yon, Gone Gondo Be Warai Sho. Due to all these merits, may our gurus have long and healthy lives. May His Holiness the Dalai Lama be very, very healthy and continue to teach us the Dharma for a very long time. Due to these merits, may we have the fortune to welcome very soon the reincarnation of Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, our spiritual director, so that he may continue to lead the organization and guide so many thousands of students. Due to these merits, may there be no wars, conflicts, famines, diseases, epidemics, no natural disasters, catastrophes. May peace and harmony prevail. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a beautiful day.